The World Tourism Network declaration for the G20 summit in Bali. Will Presidents Putin and Zelensky attend the G20 Bali summit? The G20 Bali summit is a tourism event and a logistical masterpiece for the meeting industry. The World Tourism Network declaration states, who signed the WTN Bali Declaration? Bali leaders endorsed the WTN Declaration, global leaders signed the WTN Declaration. Where do UNWTO, UNESCO, and the United Nations stand? What the Bulgarian King Simeon II told the UNESCO World Heritage Conference. Bali has been confirmed to host the World Tourism Network WTN 2024 summit. This November, one of the decade's most important meetings will occur when the G20 nations' heads of state travel to Bali, Indonesia. A major goal, among many, is to change the tone of political discourse. The G20, or Group of 20, is an intergovernmental forum comprising 19 countries and the European Union. It works to address major issues related to the global economy, such as international financial stability, climate change mitigation, and sustainable development. Will Presidents Putin and Zelensky attend the G20 Bali summit? A question on everyone's mind is, will Presidents Putin and Zelensky choose to attend the G20 Bali summit? Such attendance would give the world a new chance for peace and economic development. The President of the Republic of Indonesia Joko Widodo, has personally traveled to Kyiv and Moscow and personally invited Presidents Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky to attend the G20 summit in Bali, according to ETN sources familiar with the meeting. Widodo left Russia and Ukraine with a handshake from both leaders. U2.B Indonesia President visit to Moscow. U2.B Indonesian President visits to Kiev. Security staff from Indonesia and numerous visiting countries, including Russia, the United States, and others, are currently in Bali. They are working tirelessly to secure the safety of their respective delegations. The G20 Bali Summit is a tourism event and a logistical masterpiece for the meeting industry. Mutia Stuti, chairwoman of the Indonesian chapter of the World Tourism Network, considers the G20 a political and economic tourism MICE event. It's also a logistical masterpiece for the meeting industry, she said. Astuti is correct in pointing out that every resource available to the Bali travel and tourism sector is involved in making the G20 a success. The World Tourism Network today issued a declaration for the G20 summit in Bali. The World Tourism Network declaration states, because the G20 Bali Summit 2022 is an important international political and economic government event. The global pandemic tested the entire world, including G20 economies, with travel and tourism economies hit the hardest. The tourism sector exemplifies resilience, confirming synergy with other economically important sectors. The world-famous island of Tranquility is a major tourist location. This island is the host of this G20 meeting. It is hoped that 20 heads of state shall attend. The President of Indonesia, as a host country on a personal visit, invited the presidents of Russia and Ukraine. Considering the global situation, the G20 plays a vital role in the world's future, including our travel sector. Like any convention or meeting, the G20 relies on the travel and tourism industry's meeting and incentive sector (MICE) to play a major supporting role, including food preparation and lodging accommodations. The travel and tourism sector reflects more than 10% of the global economy. The World Tourism Network's mission, with members in 128 countries, is to be a voice for the tourism industry's small and medium enterprises, which constitute up to 85% of our travel sector. Bali is also known as the peaceful island of the gods. Tourism is the custodian of peace as established by UNWTO and UNESCO. UNWTO sees tourism as the main bridge for building understanding. It has a unique ability to promote peace between and among people everywhere. Tourism and travel provide an understanding, which adds empathy. Public and private global collaborations and cooperation are crucial for the sector's future. Therefore, World Tourism Network calls on all G20 participants to be an ambassador of world peace and remember that tourism cannot function without peace. The WTN calls upon the G20 leaders to recognize the important role of tourism in creating peace through understanding. The WTN also calls upon the G20's leadership to recognize the Bali tourism industry's important role in ensuring this summit is a logistical success. The declaration's first draft was worked on at the newly established Bali office of the World Tourism Network. Virtually WTN members from around the globe, including Russia and Ukraine, participated in the discussion. Moody Astuti, Chairwoman WTN Indonesia Chapter, right, in the WTN Bali office. Who signed the WTN Bali Declaration? Moody Astuti, Chairwoman of World Tourism Network Chapter Indonesia Jurgen Steinmetz, Chairman World Tourism Network and publisher E-Turbo News Dr. Peter Tarlow, President of the World Tourism Network Alon Street Ainge, VP of International Affairs for World Tourism Network and former Minister of Tourism and Aviation Seychelles Dr. Walter Mazembe, Chairman World Tourism Network Africa Chapter, former Foreign Minister, and Minister of Tourism for Zimbabwe Muhammad Hakim Ali, Chairman World Tourism Network Bangladesh Chapter, President Bangladesh International Hotel Association Alexandra Sasha, Chairwoman of World Tourism Network Balkan Chapter Montenegro and Director of Tourism Montenegro. Bali leaders endorsed the WTN declaration. Ida Bagus Agung Parta Adnyana, Chairman of the Bali Tourism Board (BTB), Levi Lantu, CEO of Bali Convention and Exhibition Bureau, Bali Seb Trisno Nugroho, Director of the Central Bank of Indonesia Bali. Global leaders signed the WTN declaration. Louis D'Amour, founder of the International Institute for Peace through Tourism Cuthbert Ncube, Chairman African Tourism Board Dr. Walter Mazembe, former Foreign Minister and Minister of Tourism for Zimbabwe. Hotels, transportation, attractions, safety, and security are working around the clock to facilitate the G20's upcoming meetings. According to the Bali Tourism Board, advanced teams from around the world are currently in Bali to secure venues and help with logistics and intelligence. Where do UNWTO, UNESCO, and the United Nations stand? Earlier this year, the World Tourism Organization UNWTO Secretary-General said that UNWTO stands firmly with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres in his call for all countries to settle disputes peacefully and not through conflict, to respect international security and justice at all times. What the Bulgarian King Simeon II told the UNESCO World Heritage Conference. In 2015, Kind Simeon II, the former Prime Minister of Bulgaria, told the UNESCO World Heritage Conference, as one of the three living heads of state from World War II, I must share with you what first came to my mind when reading about culture coupled with tourism, peace, harmony, mutual understanding. Promoting peace and understanding among people, securing thus a better standard of living, and bonds of friendship in a world with too much aggressiveness, hatred, inequality, and prejudice, is vital. In March this year, the World Tourism Network co-founded the Scream campaign in cooperation with the National Tourism Organization of Ukraine. 24 Bali hotels had been selected to accommodate an estimated 50,000 delegates and participants traveling to Bali in connection with the G20 summit in November 2022. Bali has been confirmed to host the World Tourism Network WTN 2024 summit. The World Tourism Network is preparing for its first annual global conference in Bali on 5–7 February 2024 at the Bali Renaissance Hotel. The conference will be facilitated in a partnership between WTN Indonesia, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia, the Bali Tourism Board, Marriott Hotel Renaissance, and the Central Bank of Indonesia. An official announcement with details is planned by the end of October in a planned press conference.